Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, July 29, 2024. Here for my weekly cross-stitching update, and I can hardly believe it's the end of July. This year has flown by, but it's been good. So I have lots of stitching to share today, so let's get started. First, I got a sweet thank you card from Charlotte, so thank you. That was very, very fun to always receive real mail. And then I have a little administrative stuff. I was offered again from the Historical Sampler Company the opportunity to participate in their Christmas stitch along. I had a couple months ago, they had a Halloween one that I decided to do a giveaway because I didn't think I would stitch it, but I could do Christmas, right? So I agreed to do that one, and it'll be arriving, I think they ship it September 23rd. But there is a advent box with little gifts for all the days of Christmas, which are fun. I don't think I've ever done one of those other than the little, chocolate ones you get at the grocery store. That one, they're sending me one of those too, and that one is almost sold out. So I wanted to make sure all of you had the opportunity to go over there and see if you could get one if you're interested. It is also shipping on September 23rd from the UK, and it is Aida only for the Advent box. The stitch along, the Christmas stitch along, you can choose Aida or linen, but the Advent box is just Aida. And what was I going to say? It looks like I'll put a link in my description for this, and it's all kind of on the same page, so you can sign up for. I think you can sign up for either or both. The stitch along and the Advent box are kind of combined. So if you get there and the Advent box is sold out, you could still sign up for the stitch along, either with the materials or just the PDF. But I thought I would let you know in case you're interested that that's available and popular apparently. So I'll put the link in my description, and I'll put up pictures, a little montage, like a collage of some pictures from last year's Advent box, because this year's is a secret, so nobody knows what is in it. But it sounds like 6 kitted projects that are small, like ornament size, and a variety of other little bits and bobs for stitching or Christmas, or I think there's a treat involved in at least one of the packages. So that's what's in it. And then there's the stitch along is called a Robin Christmas patchwork stitch along. So it's a similar style to the Halloween one that they just did, where it's got little boxes of things. And so there's a little teaser picture of that. So if you're interested in that, and I will be trying to stitch along with the Christmas sampler. That one, the stitch along starts on October 14th, and it's every 2 weeks. There'll be a release, so it's like a mystery stitch along. So we'll see how that goes, if I can keep up on that. I'm tempted to stitch it over one. They're giving us, I requested linen for that one. So I'm thinking I'm going to try stitching it over one on linen because I'm crazy. And I want it cute and small. So anyways, that's that. So I thought I would share that right up front. If you're interested, you can head over to their website and take a look at that. And I'll share my, the supplies and stuff for the stitch along when I receive them. And then the Advent box, I'm considering for the first time doing something like a vlog to open my little boxes. I don't know if I could do Stitchmas where you actually film and post every day with the way my life looks. But we'll see. Worst case, maybe I'll open it every day and then just compile those clips in my regular video. I'm not sure yet, so we'll have to wait and see. But I've never done one of those before, and so that'll be fun. Okay, travel stitching. Let's get started. So this is my temperature turtles. This is the one I worked on. I am working on this year, and I worked on it yesterday to get caught up. It's been summery still. So here is where this is at now. This is 28 count Caribbean Blue Jobelin by Witchell, 1/1 full cross. And my little July turtle is looking kind of orange there. There's been a couple more third hottest colors and several fourth hottest colors. Still no second hottest colors, but I'm okay with that. And it is cooling off. So like this one was Saturday. And so this inner row I think will be yellows as well, because it this week should be in the 90s only. So not too bad. I'm sure it'll get hot again. It'll go back up in August, but so that's been fun. I'll finish out that turtle this coming Sunday probably. I did some on my travel stitching, but some of it was not actually travel stitching, and I'll explain. But this is Kitty and Me Designs Cats and Hearts July. That's the one I'm working on now. Yes, I did a little bit of the kitty, and I finished the lightest yellow and just started on the second lightest yellow. So here is this one, 25 count, even weave, just white, 1/1 full cross. And so all the light yellow is done now, and then these flowers have the second darkest yellow done. So that's the next thing I'll work on, is the yellow. So what I'm doing with these, I did a little bit, there's like a dentist, my kid had a dentist appointment and whatnot, so I did a little bit for that, but most of the time I'm not getting the work done on these as I would normally during the school year, when I have different times to wait for them when they're done with school and extracurriculars and things. So with the Olympics that started on Friday and medal ceremonies started on Saturday, I am gonna do a stitch minutes according to medals, similar to what Brenda, the Handwork Maniac, is doing. She showed her Olympics plans, I think Wednesday of last week. So if you want to check out her video, you can go do that. And she has a lot more stitching time than I do. But one of her challenges was based on the medal count. So every day you can check the medal count for how many medals your country did the day before, and then stitch a corresponding number of minutes. So in her example, she chose 15 minutes for every gold medal, 10 minutes for every silver medal, and 5 minutes for every bronze medal. And I did that on Sunday, and it was okay, but I think Sundays being the first, Saturday, I did that on Saturday. Being the first day, there's probably fewer events that are medaling because there's still a lot of qualifications. So I was a little nervous going forward if those minute increments would work for me, and it worked okay on Saturday. It was 45 minutes total, but Sunday was going to be 75 minutes. I'm like, oh, no, back up. I can't do that. I want this to still be a bonus above and beyond my regular stitching, so I want it to be less than an hour. So I went back to the drawing board, and for me, I'm going to do 10 minutes for a gold medal, 5 minutes for a silver, and 3 for a bronze. So it's kind of ratcheting them all back down just a little bit. And so that made it 43 minutes on Sunday instead of 75. So I'm like, I could do that. So hopefully going forward, that structure will work better for me, just to have it be a bonus piece so that I can still get a decent amount on my main piece that I chose for the day. So that's what I did on, I'm using Cats and Hearts for that, which is why I'm telling you that now, to try to get some more love into my travel piece. So on Sunday, I work on my temperature turtles in the car to and from church, but I don't tend to finish how much I need to do while in the car. There's still usually some more I need to do at home. So on Sunday, I decided to do my 43 minutes of Olympic medal stitching, finishing out my temperature turtle requirements to finish all my sections. Then I moved to Cats and Hearts. So on Sunday I did both, but most of the time it'll just be Cats and Hearts. And I did not count my car time with that 43 minutes. I hadn't even checked the medal count yet at that point. So car time was extra. This was just at home, bonus time. And that worked well. So I think that's going to work good going forward. So the Olympics go until the 11th, which is right before school starts, which is good because once school starts, I probably won't have as much bonus time. And when I do the second bike race, I'm going to do the Spanish bike race starting on the 17th, the Vuelta España, which is similar to the Tour de France that was in July. I'm going to try that starting on the 17th, and we'll see if it works in the school year. So I don't know if I'll have enough time to work on that one, but we'll try it. So meanwhile, we're in the middle of Olympic stitching, and that's my bonus stuff, working on cats and hearts for the most part. I have one more like extra piece that I worked on Friday. So I finally got a regular call with my sister. It's been a while, so that was nice to get back to that. So I pulled out my Castle Homecoming. There we go, got stuck in my bag. This is the Castle Homecoming Club by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I started this last year. It was our mystery stitch along. Now it's all finished, but I'm still finishing it up, and hopefully we'll get it done by the end of the year. The last clue was in February, so it ended this year. So I'm almost done with this top scene. That's kind of what I'm focusing on. So I do also have this slotted for 3 days in my Olympics themes challenge for main stitching time, and 2 are this week. So you'll see this extra this week. That'll be fun. So here's this one. This is 28 count ice blue Lugana 1/1 full cross with color conversion. It's similar to what's called for, but it's all fancy flosses. And here's my up and down before and after to maybe see a little bit. What did I work on? I worked on a lot of grass, but I also did some orange. So I did some fire, and yeah, the orange in this banner. I finished out this shield on the castle except for the star. There's some backstitching details in here I have to do still, so as well as finish the grass along here. And then this top scene will be done. So I'm hopeful that I have this coming out, let's see, Friday and Sunday. Friday, it will be the theme more than one person. So I am doing the nap time stitcher. I'll maybe put a little picture here. The nap time stitcher on Instagram. She put together a Olympics challenge with themes for each day based on a variety of Olympic related things. And so I'm doing that. And in July, I kind of just picked things that I had yet to work on or fit. But in general, I for August especially, I made a list and had some priorities. So I had family pieces, whip go pieces, and then if neither of those fit, I chose things that are on my list to try to finish this year. So I picked from those things for the most part. And so this is one I want to finish this year. So it made the list and it worked for some of those themes. So the themes, like I said, Friday is more than one person, because already you can see multiple people, and there's I think at least one more guy down. I think there's another knight, there's a dragon, there's a troll, but there's actual people too. So that worked for that. And then on Sunday, the theme is house or building. So I got a castle, another castle here, tent. I don't know if that counts as a house or building, but the castle does. So that worked for that. Later on, it'll work for a stitch along theme. So that'll be good. But that's next week. So this week it'll get 2 days of regular stitching time. Probably also talk with my sister time. We'll see about that. Life is weird, so I don't always get the normal plans. Let's see, what else did I work on? I think that's the only regular thing. So back to that was the last miscellaneous project. All the rest of these are like my main stitching for the day. So I worked on Heirloom Stitching Sampler, which I forgot to show the cover page last time. This one is by the Victoria Sampler, and it's one of my whip go pieces for July. So I'm trying to stitch this one from Stash, and it's very long and skinny, but I was gifted a long and skinny piece of purple fabric, and so I thought, you know what? Let's do it. So this is very prim looking, but I did a color conversion, fancy flosses for my own stash, and I just kind of came I spent some time while I was doing this for 2 days to kind of fix the bead situation, because I had chosen Mill Hill beads that matched the colors they had chosen for their SJ Designs brand beads. But when I was getting into it, this next band I was planning to work on had some beads, and I realized they're petite beads that are called for. So the full-size Mill Hill beads are not going to look right. So I went back to the drawing board. At first I'm thinking, should I go try to buy some petite beads? Because I didn't have petite beads that matched the colors that they were originally intended to be. But I ended up figuring, no, this is meant to be a Stitch from Stash project, so let's stitch from stash. I have some petite beads. I pulled the threads that I was planning to use in the areas where beads would be. I looked through the whole design, and these beads go with this color thread, because the beads are generally in the bands where there's decorative stitches. So I just looked and saw, okay, this color goes with this bead, these 2 colors of thread go with this bead, and picked colors from what I had that matched what the threads were going to be for my piece. So I'm happy with that. And now I don't have to buy anything. There are some heart-shaped beads, like charms, farther down the pattern, so I'll kind of cross that bridge when I get there. I'm not sure if I have heart beads. I might, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. But here is where I got to. So I spent 2 days on this and got over 1 stitching done in that top band with the alphabet. So I had both sides to finish there. This is 32 count, miscellaneous, mystery, purple. I think it's 32. It could be 28. I'm not 100% sure. 2 over 2 full cross. This band was already finished, and so I did this lacy band, which is ecru floss with some little, I don't know if you can see, some little beads in there that are translucent. They're called for silver, and they blend in. Oh, there you can see them a little bit. They blend in a little bit, but they are sparkly, and I think they match the silver Krynic pretty well. So that's that, how far I got. So I'm pretty happy with that, and especially now that I have kind of fixed how it's kitted up. I think that's good going forward. The next band is all of these people, so that'll be fun to get into that. This one is goes through the generations, so I can read it for you real quick. Grandma loved her fancy work and passed it on to me. My daughter found her needle art at my dear mother's knee. Our love and lives are intertwined for all of us to see. The threads with which I stitch today connect our family. And I thought that was great. So the first scene is kind of pioneer days. This one is more like mid-century, I guess, and then this is more modern. So I thought that was fun how they kind of go through the ages, and this sentiment kind of sort of matches my family. My grandma taught me how to cross stitch, and my mom and grandma, well, both my grandmas knit and spun, and my mom knits and spins. She taught me how to sew. She taught me a little bit of cross stitch too. She knows how to cross stitch. She just doesn't do it that much. I am teaching my daughter how to cross stitch. My mom taught my daughter how to knit. So it's kind of like, it is a multi-generational thing in many families. So I thought that fit pretty well for me. So next, I pulled out my other non-full coverage whipco piece for July, and that's Enchanted Alphabet by Lavender and Lace. I am taking the girl out and kind of squeezing them together a little bit, but I will keep the bunny, the bird, the butterfly, and there's a couple little bushes. Slightly rearranged. I think the bunny's going to end up in the middle here, but I'm going to alter that. But I really enjoyed working on this. It's kind of a little hard to get started sometimes because of a mental block of it being on such small fabric, but once I get started, I really enjoy it. So I think this is going on my list to try to finish next year. So here is this one. I think it's like a 46 count, 48 count society time linen, and I'm doing 1 over 2 full cross, and it shrunk a little, so it's more like a 50 count, I think. But I worked over here and just kind of kept going down the back of the alphabet, finished a few more letters. The W is almost done. It's a little bit more right here, and then the butterfly will be up here, and then there's I think Y and Z go up. So, and then the bunny will be here. I think there's a bush here, here, and here. The bushes, I'm thinking I'll do all at the same time because they're kind of full of confetti, lots of different colors. And so I can, once I have one on my needle, I can have, do it in all 3 bushes at the same time before I put that color away, which I think will be the most efficient use. So I'll do that when all the letters are done, so I know where to place those bushes without counting too far, because this is, being so tiny, it's hard to count very far without being afraid I'm getting it totally wrong. So that was fun to work on. Worked on that for 2 days. So my WIPCO calls for July now are finished. And then on Friday, with the beginning of the Olympics, the first theme for the Olympics was new start or something, your most recent start. And I had already scheduled to do a new start every month this year. So this was my July start. So I just did it on that day. Worked out nicely. This is by Tilton Crafts. They call it Stained Glass Birds 1. I'm calling it Stained Glass Cardinal because clearly. Something I noticed though, this goes right up to the top, on the top and bottom, the colored bits, and then there's extra black on the sides. So I cut off 9 stitches on this side and 8 stitches on this side in order to get the color butted up against the edge of the design both sides and have less black to stitch. So I actually marked off 4,522 stitches just by 8 stitches on one side and 9 stitches on the other. So that's crazy. And that brought it immediately to 5.67% just by doing that. And I didn't even stitch them, so that's great. So here's my start. I will work on this one more day this week. Wednesday is my second day on this, because I like to give a new start at least 2 days. So this is one length of thread on 40 count raw linen, 1/1 half stitches. And you can see there's 3 rows represented. This one's not quite to the end. This is where the circle will be starting. So this is the corner, and I had a whole bunch of pins lined up here to make sure I counted all the way over accurately. It was like 110 stitches or something. So I had a little pin every 10 stitches, which was not very, they were very close together because it's a 40 count. Yeah, one length of floss, which I think was a 2-foot length, 293 stitches with one length of floss. And I was amazed that I got it all done without the thread breaking or anything, because I went through the fabric, you know, almost 600 times. So that was great. It went good. And now that I have this top row fully counted, I can just kind of count off of the circle. And there's another leaf right here that starts on the 5th row. So I should be able to have a little bit more outline. I don't know if I'll do any more than black on Wednesday still, but hopefully I can get this corner filled in some more. The first 10 by 10 square is just black, but all the other 10 by 10 squares in the top row have something else going on. So I was debating if I wanted to do cross country or if I wanted to do my normal stitching method. And I think I want to do normal because I don't know that I want to do the whole thing without any colors. Like just black for, I think there's like 23,000 stitches of black. I don't want to do that. I mean, it'd be cool. And when I've done like little cross stitch games on my iPad, it's fun to do a stained glass picture that way. But for stitching, I don't think I really want to do it that way. I want to just get some color in my life a lot sooner. So, but overall, it's a nice small piece, relatively speaking. So it's less than 300 both directions, especially since I cut it off. I think it was 300 until I chopped off. So it's just under 300 stitches each way. So not too bad for a full coverage. Now it's at 6.03%, including what I've not stitched that's marked off. So take that with a grain of salt, I guess. Saturday, the theme for the Olympics challenge was patriotic. So I worked on my Quaker USA flag by Vivsters. This is the original. She actually had a short version, which was her original. And then once she started making new flags this past year, she made a long version to match the long international flags she was making. And then since I bought this, I saw it on Aussie Stitcher in Texas. I saw it on her channel. They actually have another version of this that's more, it's like, she called it reversed. So it matches the international flags, which are a little bit more full coverage. I think it's like, this is, I have mine are red on fabric. And I think the reversed is the background of the block is red and then the design is fabric show through. So I think that's the difference. A little bit more stitching in that one, but it will match the other international flags better, which worked for her. Is her name Amy? Aussie Stitcher in Texas, because she was doing both. She's eventually going to do the American one and the Australian one. So for people doing more than one flag, it's kind of helpful to have a match a little bit more. So I understand why that happened. I didn't have that version when I bought mine, so that's why I didn't know it existed. Because mine is a little bit different than the other ones that she has out. But let's show my progress. I enjoyed working on this one too, just the one day. This one is 40 count vintage country mocha, 1/2 full cross. And I did some outlining, I think one long length of thread outlining, like a 4-foot length of the 939. And I finished this red medallion and started in on this one. So I think I have some red on my needle too. So I did a little over a length of thread on that. I'm doing Victorian Motto, Garden Rose, and Blue Sampler for my red and blue, and B5200 for the white, and the outline is called for 939. These are charted for DMCs, but I thought, you know what, I have Victorian Motto gives you 20 yards. When I was in her fabric club, I collected some of her stuff, so I'm like, you know what, I'll use some of her stuff for that, and those are pretty colors. Then on Sunday, I was able to fit summer montage in my normal Sunday stitch, because the theme for the Olympics was something to do with summer. So I think summer montage counts, right? So this is by Pain Free Crafts, artwork by Janet Stever. And I'm up here in the red rose, and I finally got this top row finished. And I'm starting back over here in the second row picking symbols. So I'm so excited. That top corner with the little doohickey was full of confetti. And for example, the last color I had to do in that last 10 by 10 square, one color or one symbol of that color in the entire rose block. So I just did that one stitch and put it away. I was like, oh brother, here we go. So, but this is good. So I finished that top row of 10 by 10 squares completely. This is 28 count mushroom Lugana 1/1 full cross. And I'm picking symbols. I think the first couple blocks of the second 10 by 10 row are done now too. So I picked a lot of symbols that were on the edges of the rows, so you see more like bits in the edges. So pretty soon, hopefully I can get some colors that fill things in a little bit more. So that'll be nice. I think there was some green down here I did too. So I did 312 stitches, and now this is at 2.15%. The Quaker flag, I forgot to say, since it is in Pattern Keeper, I have 385 stitches on Saturday that I did, and then it's now at 5.06%. So that one reached 5%, which is fun. I don't count stitches unless it's in Pattern Keeper, because Pattern Keeper counts it for me. Otherwise, I just count, like I write down a little note of what color or section that I worked on, because I don't want to waste my stitching time counting stitches. I think that's everything I worked on this time. So I'll share my plans, which I already had started to share them a little bit. I'll still do my cats and hearts for the medal minutes every day. And because the Olympics are in Paris, it's midnight in Paris when it's 3 p.m. my time. So when I usually start stitching, it's around 3 in the afternoon. So it's perfect. So I can go then around 3 and check the medal count, and it should be mostly accurate for the day that we're experiencing. They will have just finished and I'm in the middle of it. So my stitching time happens after the Olympics have finished for the day. So I think it's perfect. So yeah, today, and it ended up being today and the first Thursday, I will work on Simpsons twice. This one worked well for the Olympics challenge for today, which is work on things with the colors of the Olympic rings: blue, yellow, black, green, red. Blue, yellow, lots of black in the outline, green, red. So I could work on any of those and be very specific to the theme. So I thought that would be great. And then August 1st, the, what do you call it? The theme is one of your oldest projects. So on my list of family pieces, WIPGO pieces, things I'd like to finish this year, this I think is my oldest. I don't keep track of start dates, but I bought this and started this probably at least 15 years ago, and have since restarted it. I started it 1/1 half stitches on 32 count and didn't like the coverage. I did another piece around the same time that way, and it was okay enough, but I didn't want to do it again. Since then, I've seen some people do 32 count 1/1 half stitch with CXC because it covers a little bit thicker. But with DMC, there was too much show through for my taste, especially with blacks and dark colors. So I'm like, you know what? Once I discovered 40 count Verdal existed, this is one of the first things I tried it on, and I loved it. So it's one of my oldest things I've been working on, but it sat dormant for lots of years because I didn't like the process I was working with the fabric. So that one counts for that, I think. It's not my oldest, but it is one of the oldest on my focus list, I guess. Then Friday and Sunday, I'll work on Castle Homecoming, and I already shared the themes for those. Saturday, the theme is row or border. So for that one, I decided to pick, oh, I missed one, but I'll go ahead and show this one out. I picked Winter Rose. This is one of my WIPGO calls for July, and it has a border. So I figured that would work for that one. So this will get one WIPGO day on Saturday, and my WIPGO goal for my pieces is 2 days, so it'll get another day in a couple weeks to like finish its goal, but it'll get its first day here this week. This one is, I think, 46 count. I don't remember the color. It's like a light gray blue. It's very pretty. 1/2 full cross. There's no beads in this one, so I figured I could do that, but then I discovered there's a blend in her dress. So I'm going ahead and doing a 2-stranded blend, and it's not too bad. I think there's a blend in the green and a blend in the red, but so I'll work more on her dress this time and see how that goes. I could maybe work on border, bringing the border down, because the border is, the theme for the day is border. So maybe I'll do that too. Maybe I'll do a little bit of the border and the dress. We'll see. This is by Lavender and Lace. I don't know if I showed it a little bit, but then back up to Tuesday. I missed that one. Tuesday, the theme is water. So of my pieces that were family pieces or WIPGO pieces, I couldn't think of anything with water off the top of my head, but this is one of the ones that's on my list of things I'd love to finish this year. I don't know if it's possible, but I am actually currently working on the summer one, which has water in it. So I'm like, you know what? I'll pull that out. That'll be fun. I kind of wanted to get to this in the summer anyways, so this will be good. Even though it's one day, it's better than nothing. So I have more done on that than I thought. That's exciting. So here's all of this. This has had trouble. I kind of arranged it in a block format, but I messed up on my layout here. So it's closer together than I wanted it to be. I still need one more heart here because I wasn't sure if I was going to be picking this heart out. I might still pick this out and move it over. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Winter and autumn are done. This is probably too high up to have it all on one piece like I was originally thinking. So I might move this over and cut it and maybe like patch it together like a quilt. That's kind of what I might think. But this is the start of summer, which is what I will be working on this time. This is Vintage Country Mocha 27 count Linda, 2/2 full cross. So it's kind of bigger than I usually do, but it's actually kind of fun and peaceful. It goes quicker than I think because the stitches are so big, but they're cute patterns. They're not too big, stitch count wise. So I have a little bit more of this. I think there's like another color of sand. There's a few colors in these like flower bushes, more colors in the waves, more colors obviously in her dress, but that's fun. So I do think it's possible to finish this year if I just give it some time. So one day at least on the water area for the Olympics challenge, and we'll see if I can bring it out more later in the rest of the year and finish up spring as well. I never showed you my starting point on Simpsons. I'm all over the place. Sorry about that. This is my starting point on Simpsons. This is 40 count Burdal, 1/1 half stitch, so it's very tiny. I actually have a bunch of white on my needle, a really long piece of white. So I might park that so I can work on some other colors for the challenge today, which is for colors of the Olympic rings, and then come back and finish the white on the 1st, because I want to be consistent with the theme if I can. I was hoping to work on those colors on the day they wanted to work on something with those colors. So I'm like, okay. And then the last thing, which I may get to, because that Simpsons piece is still a secret, I may bring this out, my Shine Bright sampler, which is in this Bonnie and Camille Quilt Bee book. I'm doing the Shine Bright colorway, which you can find their color conversion on the Fat Quarter Shop website. It's done in RE floss, and I can work on this when I can't work on Simpsons because my husband's in the room. So this is 40 count Morganite linen by Fiber on a Whim, 1/2 full cross. So this one I'm planning to pull out for like the bike race stitching later in the month, to try to get moving on it. But in the meantime, it's possible I might pull it out this week on those days I'm working on Simpsons. So I will have some bonus time, you know, to work on my Cats and Hearts, but I may need a little bit more extra stuff than that. So just in case, I'll figure I'd show you a starting point. So yeah, lots going on. It's kind of fun to have. It's a little weird. I've been doing a 2-day rotation for quite a few months now, so it's been a little strange to go back to switching every day. Like working on my new start, like mentally thinking, oh yeah, well I can do this other part tomorrow, and then I'm like, oh wait, no, I'm switching tomorrow. Tomorrow is the Quaker flag. I won't get back to this until next week. I'm like, oh, okay. So it was a little different. I knew I would get 2 days on it, but they're not next to each other. So sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's weird. It's not bad at this point. I'm enjoying it, having fun with the switching up the themes. I will probably be participating in the Magazine Monthly Challenge AB Singo in September. So that'll be one of those too, where it'll be a different piece every day. And I like to do that once in a while, not all the time, but once in a while. I think a 2 to 3 day rotation has been nice to be able to just kind of sink your teeth into something just a little bit longer. So far I've been enjoying that. So with that, I think I'm done. I hope you have a wonderful week. And if you're working on the Olympics, have fun with that. I only watched a teeny tiny bit, so hopefully I'll get a little bit watched. My daughter's really looking forward to watching some of the things, so we'll probably have to make time for that throughout the week. And with that, have a wonderful week. Happy stitching. Bye.